we rejoice in our sufferings, knowing that suffering produces endurance. Romans chapter 5, verse 3. Well, good morning, brothers and sisters. This is Pastor Kevin of Martickville United Methodist Church. And it's interesting that this passage came up because just on Sunday I referenced James chapter 1, which was a passage from last week. I think it was verses 3 and 4, or 2 and 3, where James speaks about perseverance and enduring trials, because the perseverance that and what it produces in our lives, and Paul expounds on that in this passage from Romans 5. We don't hear the whole thing here, but this that suffering produces endurance, and endurance produces character, and character produces follows this chain of thought. But it's a very important chain of thought, because what ends up happening, and where James goes with it, is different than where Paul goes with it, in that Paul's direction is one that talks more about how God changes a person and uses trials and testing and faith and challenges to develop the faith and strengthen a believer, where James is more focused on the change to the person's faith and their witness and their testimony, and how they interact with other people. Paul is focused on the internal changes to a person, primarily because his purpose in writing to the church in Rome is to reintroduce himself as the new person that he is in Jesus Christ, because Paul was renowned as Saul as a persecutor of Christians. But as Paul, people were worried that he was essentially just using this as a ruse to show up and basically kill them for being Christians. So he needed to introduce himself. So this is one of the ways in which he is explaining all of the stuff that he's been through and how it has changed him, and all of the trials and tests and things that he has faced. And of course, he's writing this as encouragement to them that, hey, I also recognize that I put you through some of that. So, know that was God using, God can use those things to your benefit, and it's not just I'm a bad man, right? So there's some mixed messaging here, but the point is that we should rejoice even in our sufferings. We should rejoice even in our trials, and be thankful even in those rough times, because it's those things. And to take this and pair it up with the book of James chapter 1, verses 2 and 3 is perfect, because it's 100% right. They're both 100% right. One, it produces an inward change in us. It makes us stronger believers, and at the same time pushes us forward in our witness and our testimony. Our lives, when people observe us go through times of trouble, become a stronger testimony as a result of what we've been through. I hear people talk all about, all the time about, oh, if I could go back in time, I'd change me doing this, I changed me doing that. I was a horrible person before I became a Christian. I still struggle, we all do. But I was a bad man. And, not as bad as some, obviously, but I'm bad enough that I'm ashamed of who I had been before Christ. But if I could go back in time and change those things, at this point I wouldn't, because all of those things have contributed to the person and the faith and the testimony and the witness that I have now as a result. And that's partly what Paul is saying here. And it's important that we understand that. We are who we are as a net result of the things that have happened in our lives. Our witness and our testimony become stronger and more powerful, because there are people who knew us 20, 30, sometimes 40, 50 years ago. God bless you. Even 5 years ago, who would look at us now and go, who is this person? I feel this way about members of my own family, where I would have said when I was 18, this is not that person. The person that I knew when I was 18 is dead, because that person doesn't exist anymore because of the grace and love in Jesus Christ, and the change that God can do in a person's heart. I have seen God do amazing things. And so, yes, rejoice in the trials, rejoice in the suffering, rejoice in these things, because it strengthens us, it changes us, it makes us it does wonderful things in our lives. As painful as it may be, it does wonderful things. Brothers and sisters, I hope this word finds you well, that it uplifts you in some special way today, and helps you realize that maybe the situation that you're going through right now isn't designed to make you just feel terrible, but rather to increase the power of your testimony when you come out on the other side. Don't doubt on God's power. Don't doubt what God can do in your life. Remain faithful. God loves you. We love you. Take care.